Hello, welcome everyone to Painting with Brenda on Thursday night, and I'm Brenda. And tonight we are going to start our Happy Harvest, Fall Harvest, Courtney says Fall Harvest box, which was our October subscriber box. So these are two of the pieces of what they look like finished. Our little boy Scarecrow and our little girl Scarecrow with our little pigtails and our pumpkin. And there was also a crow and a bale of straw in there. And we'll actually open up a box for you to show you what was in the box. But here's what our painted guys look like that we're going to be painting tonight. Starting to paint anyway. So I believe everyone got their boxes. And if you got your box, you got Hello, I'm Here, and you got Brenda's Bisque box on it. And they shipped out on the 5th, which was a week ago Saturday. So here's what our boxes look like when you open them up. You find your inventory sheet, and if there's a color flyer, you'll have the flyer for the molds that we painted. And if there isn't a flyer, then we actually make a flyer up as well. So you still have instructions. Although I did not paint them per the Mayco did, but we Clay Magic, but they use the Mayco paints. So we'll paint them a little bit differently than what's on the flyer. And your inventory sheet is on the other side. And then along with that, we included this month the Duncan acrylic stain catalog. And we have almost all the colors on our... Courtney says all of them are on the Brenda's brush strokes and Bisque. She said a couple sold out, and I think we have to add the silver or the metallic colors yet. So you can also purchase the colors on there, or you can message us and Courtney can add them to your boxes. That way you have a nice reference for colors.
Hey, you can open it up.
We should open it up. So it's a good for the colors. It also has the sealers in here and the brush on sealers, and then here's the colors. And
okay.
So they have their colors in here, and here's the metallics and some of the other stuff that they have. So you'll have that for a nice reference for your colors. And then also in your box, this month again, you got 2 extra free dry brushes, a flat 5 and a round 5. So they're included in the price of your subscription box, as well as the mailing is included with that. You get tracking and insurance. So these are the 2 brushes this month, a 5 flat Royal and Langnickel bristle dry brush and a 5 round bristle dry brush. And since I opened them, I think I'm going to put them in my container and I'm going to use them. So these are stiff when you get them. They have a glue sizing in them, so you'll want to wash them out with a little bit of soap and water and let them dry, and then they'll be ready to use. That just keeps their bristles all nice and together while they're being shipped. So those are probably your most common size, your size 5. It's just a good size brush to have. I'm going to confiscate those. Then you have a little extra package, and in your extra package, which is also part of your subscription box price, we have glitter that we're going to use on our Scarecrow, on our sunflowers. And we have some little burlap patches. You can see everything's also numbered and how many are in there, and that will match up with your inventory sheet.
If you're ever missing something, just reach out.
And Cordy says if you're ever missing something, just reach out and let us know. So we'll put the patch on, and then we'll put the little buttons on top of the patches. And let's see, what else do we have? We have a little dowel, and that will go into the bale of straw, and the crow will go on top of that, so he doesn't have a flat bottom, so he can sit on the bale of straw. And then we also have a happy Thanksgiving little poke stick that can go into your bale of straw also with him. So then along with that, we have our little, one of our bisque pieces. And this is how they come. They're labeled and wrapped up really well. This is our boy Scarecrow. We'll get into him. And we wrap him really well so nothing gets broke. If you ever have a problem though, let us know. Oh, Courtney says we got comments. It's off the screen. Happy Thursday, fellow boxers. Yes, happy Thursday. So he's in here all wrapped up really well. So this is our boy Scarecrow, and he's got the bibs on. It's all our bisque is fired to 04, and when I'm cleaning it, all the detail gets put back in as well. And then we'll have our girl Scarecrow. So we like to do the unboxing so that you can see how everything comes wrapped up really nice. And then here's our bale of straw, and you may want to take this outside to open it because there's lots of little shaft in there, and you can just kind of give it a tap and get rid of some of that before you bring it back in the house to use it to display. And we also have a little pumpkin in there.
It's a Mayco pumpkin.
And this is a Mayco pumpkin, Courtney tells me. Huh?
You're the one that picked it.
Yeah, I picked them, but it's a Mayco, so we do have the Scarecrows were clay magic, and the cute little pumpkin is Mayco. And let's see what else. Then we have more packing on the bottom to protect everything. And then we had our little extra surprise bisque piece this month. Just trying to keep it fun for you guys.
You got to see somebody unbox their...
Huh?
You got to see somebody unbox their box.
And then here we have our little crow, and he doesn't have the flat bottom, so that's the dull will go inside him. And then you can stick that in your bale, and then he can just sit right on your bale. So that's our unboxing. So you can see all the little goodies that are in there besides the bisque. We'll put those things aside. Everything will get base coated black.
I have it towards you.
You need to flip the phone or what?
I don't know. I have it flipped towards you how you wanted it.
Maybe it's just the screen, because it looks okay on here.
Go how you would paint something.
Let's see. These guys go this way. This goes this way, so we'll see if we're right side up. It should be okay. Someone messaged that we're upside down, so I think I just turned the pieces around. Maybe that's all that was wrong. So let's see.
Wait and see.
Huh?
We'll wait and see.
Courtney's gonna
There's a delay. Could delay.
says there's a delay, so we'll have to see if it flips around the way it's supposed to. It should, because I think we have that figured out now from last time. So I'm just going to put all my little things to the side here so I don't lose them, because we'll need those as we go. So you could, I think Courtney posted that you could base coat your pieces black. So I did start that. And I'll actually finish doing her. So if you have any beginners, new people, they can see how to base coat. And I'm just using some Doc Holliday black. You can use Duncan or Mayco. And it's just a black acrylic stain. And I'm using a Royal & Langnickel size 8 nylon round brush. And I just go into my paint. And then I want to brush back and forth and brush that paint out so you don't have any ridges or puddles or drips. So I had base coated those so it would help save time. We didn't have to do the whole 2 pieces on camera. So you just want to brush that out really well. Get into all your crooks and crannies. Like there's a ridge there now of a puddle and you want to brush that out. You don't want ridges like that. You want it nice and smooth. So you just brush it out. So it looks like on my tablet that we're going the right direction. So hopefully it's good. Margarita says it's better, so that's good. So welcome everyone, and hope you enjoyed your unboxing when you got your boxes. We're already working on the next boxes, of course, because it's already the middle of the month. So I'm just using that black and brushing it out back and forth. When there's texture, you kind of want to go with your texture. That'll help just brush it on easier for you. Sometimes you have to dab to get into the little crevices or pounce instead of actually brushing. Courtney says, can I describe pouncing? Pouncing is just taking a little bit of paint and I'm just going up and down to like pounce it into that crevice. It's like brushing it back and forth. It doesn't want to go in there. So I'm just kind of dabbing it or pouncing it, going up and down with paint on the brush to get it into those crevices where it doesn't want to go when I'm brushing it. So I hope that makes sense. It's probably more like dabbing. Pouncing and dabbing are kind of the same thing. Probably depends what part of the country you're in, which word you're used to. Kind of like we use pop here, and most people call it soda. So I'm just going to brush it out. So I just wanted to make sure we touched base on this a little bit for any new people. And again, I'm just brushing our black. We want a nice even coat. Because it's a ceramic paint, as it dries, it kind of self-levels. It's formulated to do that, so it's just a better quality paint than your box store paints. You get a nice smoother finish, which is good for dry brushing. You won't have all those brush marks in it. So like now, there's a white spot in there, so I'm just like dabbing up and down to get it covered. And then I go back and look to see if I have any other little white spots, because as it dries, it seems like you always have a few of those appear. Did you need to zoom in, Courtney, for them? So Courtney will zoom in for you guys so you have a little bit closer look. I'll kind of put an X here in the middle. So I'm going to flip her back around to the front, so now you can see it dried, and now we have that white spot or flea. We usually call those fleas around here. They look like little flecks that need color.
They come up like 2 inches. Okay, right there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Now I guess a good area to do pouncing or dabbing is on this sunflower, the center of it, because there's a lot of little indents in there, and I'm just dabbing it up and down to fill those in. And I just got paint on the end of my brush, and I'm just dabbing it up and down, just working it into all them little indents. And then I'll go and brush it out so that there isn't any rough puddles on top. And again, I'm just brushing on my petals, and I'm going with my texture. If I go against it, it's going to want to puddle up more, so I'm actually going with it. When you're dry brushing, you're going to want to go against your texture instead of with it, so you save the black in your depth, in your crevices and creases. So I'm just going with the texture on my sunflower to get it covered up good. And I got to grab some more black. And let me see, I should probably look at the notes here quick. What else? Well, we got a bunch of viewers tonight, so thanks for joining us. We're just brushing away here. It's been a extra busy week this week. I have jury duty 2 days this week. It was my birthday. I had the dentist cleaning of my teeth. Let's see, what else? There was stuff every day.
Oh, last night you had fun.
Last night I had fun. I took a class to use so I could experience using a plasma cutter and a wire welder. Making pumpkins out of, jack-o'-lanterns out of, they were out of fire extinguishers. And we got to weld the stem and the leaf on, and then we got to cut out the face with the plasma cutter, which is something I wanted to do for a couple years. But I wanted to do it before I actually invested in one, because they're not the cheapest to buy. And I think it's probably on my wish list now for sure. So I'm just finishing up, getting her nice and black. Now I do have some white spots here, so I want to come back and touch those up. Now she could have also been base coated in a real dark brown. That would have worked fine too. I just always tend to use the black more than anything, I guess. So we'll flip her around here and see if we got black on the... So now here I missed it all on the edge of my sunflower, so I want to go back and get that. So you always want to turn your pieces around and look at all the different angles to make sure you have it covered really well. Now I want to come back to the front and make sure I brush that out so I don't have any ridges on there where I just painted on the back. And we're going to get the top of our straw, because we have some spots, and along the flower stem here, a little more on her sleeve. What was the question? Would you use the plastic cutter for the ceramics? No, the plasma cutter is actually for cutting steel. It's like for iron type projects. You can cut steel with it, like up to, I think it was 5/8 of an inch thick. So like we cut the faces out of the fire extinguishers. Maybe Courtney will grab it. It's one of the little ones right over there on the sewing machine. So now I have her nice and black, and we'll go back and touch up our girl. Oh, she says she has to zoom out for you guys to see this. Then she'll zoom back in.
Like at an angle.
So maybe she says put it at an angle so you can see it.
Yeah.
So this was like a little fire extinguisher. We this piece of rebar had a washer welded onto it, and it goes down inside there, and we just welded the top, and then the gentleman held the leaf, and we welded the leaf onto there, and then we went into the next line where for the plasma cutter, and it's just like a little pistol grip type of thing, and you drag it right along where your marking is, and it just cuts it. It's like a little micro torch is the best way to explain it to me. And then you cut out your little outlines. And it was the old fire extinguisher, the small size. We also did a big one at the class, but this is the small one. So it's pretty neat. It's kind of a dirty job because that stuff gets rusty and dirty. And you can leave it get rusty and dirty, or you can put a sealer on it so it's stays shiny, but I kind of like the rusty look, so I'm going to leave mine get rusty. So now we're back to our Scarecrow that I did the whole thing before, and I'm just going to touch up any little white fleas that we have showing through our black. So that was just something I've always wanted to try, and there's been a place offering classes, and just turned out right, and it's like, well, I'm going to treat myself, and I went and took a class instead of just learning on my own, and it was fun. So, and you also want to make sure you do your bottoms. Always base coat your bottoms as well as your main part, and inside this ridge here, the rim, which is the thickness of your piece. You want that nice and neat looking too. So he's looking pretty good. I think we got all his little white fleas covered up. So we'll probably work on these two pieces together at the same time instead of doing one at a time, because we have a lot of yellow. Their faces are the light brown, and then we have a lot of the yellow. So long as we have the brush in those colors, we will just do both of them. So we are going to start with the faces, and we're going to use the Duncan light brown OS 467. So that's for the face, the light brown Duncan OS 467. And we're going to do the face area. And then on the boy, we also have to do the back of his neck. Don't forget the back of his neck. So we'll start with that. And we'll just wash out my brush here. And I'm just going to shake it up a little bit. And put some on my foil. And it's going to take quite a bit. So I'm going to use my, let's see, what am I going to use? I'm going to use my Royal & Langnickel size 5 bristle dry brush. And I'm just going to go into the edge of my light brown and grab a little bit and brush it out onto my extra piece of paper towel here. You could use a brown paper bag, the coffee filters, a cotton shirt, just anything that works to brush out your brush in. I just use the paper towel because that's works really good. And now I want to dry brush his whole face and get around the back of his neck here. And where there are indents or creases, you want to go across those. You don't want to go with them because then that'll fill your black in with the brown. So you want to go across. And if you get some on the hair, that's okay because we'll be covering that up with the mustard later. And we'll just go back and forth here. We'll go back across the nose because our texture crease is right there. And we'll switch here. So you kind of have to change directions where your dry brushing because of the different creases in the face. And you just want lots of thin layers. You don't want a whole lot at once. So I usually start at one area and then I'll work around, and then this area will dry and then we'll work back around again. And then we'll grab the girl and do her, and we'll go back and forth until we get both faces to where we want them. But you want to build up your color very thin. You don't want a lot of color at once. You want thin layers. If you get a black shiny spot, then your paint is too wet and you need to leave it dry and maybe move over to a different area. So now he has just a very light amount of the light brown, and I'm actually going to turn him now and work my way around to the back of his neck so that front area can dry. And again, I'm just brushing back and forth. He's got some little indents here, so we're going to go across those. as like for his stuffed head. So we're just gonna go across, back and forth. And you can do little half circles if you want in that little area. You just don't want to go completely in the direction of those creases, because then you're going to fill them in with the brown paint and then you won't see them, and then you'll lose that depth in your piece. So now that filled in pretty quick there. So now we'll come back to the front. And see, now that's too thick, so I need to brush my brush out and come back and try to brush that out so it isn't so much in one spot. And then I'll let it dry. And then, I mean, it's okay because we're going to get the face a lot lighter brown yet, so it'll work its way up to that color. So we'll just keep adding our light brown. Make sure you brush out that brush. Sometimes I get to talking and I don't brush it out enough. That's what happens. So did everyone see some of the little sneak peeks for the November box? Let's see, Courtney posted a tree picture, right? Cutting the holes in the trees, and she posted the little trucks pictures. I think it was earlier this week when she posted those. So the next box is in November, for November 5th, it'll ship. It's a Christmas box so that your pieces can be painted in November, and then they will be ready for December to display or give away. It will be a Christmas tree that lights up on a base. And then there is one of the little trucks. That's the little plain truck shelf sitter, and he will sit on the table or a shelf or a desk. And you could actually sit him next to your Christmas in July Christmas tree. It's kind of the right scale to go with that. And then the other one is a ornament, and it's the little truck as well with a Christmas tree in the back of it. And then there will be pin lights in that, and there'll be lights in the tree, as well as the light kit we're giving as a thank you gift. And then glitter and snow. So that's kind of a part of our November box. And you can let us know if you know for sure. If you're a subscriber, you're already on the list. If you're not a subscriber and you think you want to order that one, send us a message so we can get a list going, so we can make sure we have enough boxes for everyone. Let's see. Courtney did a birthday sale for me on Tuesday, which is good till midnight Friday night. And it's for on our Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. So we have some Bisque on there. And any Bisque that's in stock is 15% off. With the promo code birthday, you have to put that in when you check out, most likely, right? Yep. You put that in when you check out, and then you'll get 15% off. But it's only for Bisque that's in stock on the web page. Let's see what else. We're going to be ordering supplies for the November box shortly. So if you think there's something extra that you wanted to add to your box, let us know and we can see if we can order it to add. So I'm going to actually switch over to the little girl Scarecrow now and let this one dry, and then we'll come back and do some more on the face. But it works really well if you can let that dry in between some of the layers. So we'll switch over to the girl now, and we're going to do the same thing. We just keep dry brushing our light brown on there, and again I'm going to go across her texture so we can keep those crevices dark. And you just go back and forth, or you can do little half circles or C strokes. And you just want to build up your color a little bit at a time. Now I'm just going to check that she does not have this is part of her shirt underneath her jumper, so all we have to worry about is her face. So we'll just keep getting our light brown on her face. This will take at least 2 times, if not 2.5 to 3 times to get them completely dry brushed. There's a lot of work in these. So I hope you guys enjoyed getting them. I think we already spotted what we're going to put in next year's box because Clay Magic shared some Thanksgiving themed things that they brought back, so I think those will be good for next year because we're making that list. So I'm just going to keep slowly dry brushing and building up that light brown. And you want to get rid of most of we're actually covering up most of the black and just basically leaving it in the creases. That was a hard thing for me to do when I learned dry brushing. I seem to always leave everything too black. You're just using it for shadowing. And go back and forth and up and down and keep going around and around. So I had some pictures shared from you guys from your Halloween boxes. That was great to see that. You guys did a great job. I'm glad I was able to be of help. That's what was the whole idea behind this. I'm just dry brushing her little face and getting it lighter and lighter. So let's see, I should probably check out some of their comments going on. Let's see. Looks like Courtney's taking care of you guys. And Courtney has, we did get the conversion chart from Glazers. So it's in a PDF file, so if you would like the color conversion chart, let us know, because she's got the file open and she can send it to you. She'll just need your email address. And for example, if you have Doc Holliday colors and you want to use Duncan colors, you can look at Lexington green and go across the chart and it'll tell you which Mayco color to use or which Duncan color to use, which is equivalent to the Doc Holliday color. So it's a pretty handy little chart. If you have certain colors and don't have other colors, you can like cross-reference them. Like she said, it's in a PDF file, so she'll have to email it to you. So if you can message her with your email address, she'll send you that PDF file.
I'll figure out how to put it online.
And she says she'll figure out how to put it on our Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com, but not right at this moment. We will be using Duncan paints going forward. We did have a few Doc Holliday box colors used in this box yet, but the next one will be all Duncan, just because we have trouble getting the Duncan or the Doc Holliday colors. You may see Mayco colors because they're not an issue to get, so we'll be blending those in there too a little bit if we need that particular shade of color.
They have a pretty deep line.
Courtney says they have a pretty deep line. Yeah, they do.
It's about the same as Duncan.
About the same as Duncan. Yep, I would agree. They're just different shades than the next company. Everybody's got their own shades of colors. But we have to use what we can get. Because we can't plan. Like I can't take my February molds and pour them and clean them and fire them and paint up a sample using, say, Doc Holliday colors, and then we release the box and we can't get the paints. That just doesn't work for you guys. So we're just going to do our samples with the Duncan and the Mayco. And once Doc Holliday's readily available, we can throw those back into the picture. But for right now, we really can't. So now I'm going back to my boy. And I'm just going to keep brushing him, getting him his nice skin color. So do you guys like me dry brushing the whole piece, the entire step of it, or would you prefer that, like at this point, I had a sample that had the faces where they need to be, and then we like picked up from there in order to save time? Or do you want to see me dry brushing the entire face to get it to the color that it needs to be? So I don't want to waste time if you guys don't want to see, if you don't feel you need to see this whole dry brushing of this whole color, and you just need to see me getting started with it, and then I could show you a sample of the face actually dry brushed to the point where it's ready to go to the next step. Because then I could have samples lined up, and we can just like start each color and then go to the finished point and then go to the next color. But if you want to see me doing the whole process from the beginning to the end of this color, let us know so we can be of most help to you and not be wasting your time. So that's just one thing I guess that we were thinking about. I had someone suggest that, so I didn't know how everyone else feels. So we're just gonna keep for tonight though. We'll have to do the whole thing because I don't have a sample of the complete color other than my completely painted set. So now I'm just going to dry brush around his little back of his neck here, going back and forth. We had hoped to get to our unboxing video this week, but it was just too busy, so I had actually painted the truck blue, and we had some opinions, and they weren't well, it wasn't well accepted, so I'm going to have to paint, Cardi thinks green. So the one with the tree is red, and the other one is green. I'm a blue person, so I painted it blue, so Cardi didn't like it, so we're going to repaint it. So I'll probably be doing that Saturday morning, and then maybe Saturday afternoon going to her house, and we'll do the unboxing reveal video of the November box, so you can look for that this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. It all depends how well it goes and if it gets uploaded easily right away. So she says it's a process to get it uploaded, so it's painful. So
video files are big.
So we'll work on that, and I guess maybe everybody post what color you'd like to see the plane truck in. How's that? Let's do that. Probably one of the retro colors.
Still trying to get blue.
Cordy says I'm still trying to get blue. No comment.
Paint one of each.
We could do that. I thought about doing red and just doing it in a different technique, maybe antiquing it to show the difference. Because red is kind of the popular color with those trucks. The one with the tree I painted out in red. So I'm just going to keep building up his color. You can see he's coming along. I'm just gently brushing. I'm not like bearing down hard, beating my brush in. I'm just brushing back and forth, round and around. We do have a new technique picked out for our February box.
December too.
Oh, and December too. December's we'll be doing some color washing on a couple of the pieces.
Are you doing that cream gold finish too?
Oh, and we were going to do the cream and gold finish that Clay Magic did on a couple of their snowmen. We were going to do that with one of the snowmen. That's more of an antiquing process. So that's a new technique. And
really big surprise.
Cordy says February's, I can't tell you, but it's a big surprise. It's a very easy technique. And we will be, the extra in the box will be what you will be using to do the technique. So that's kind of it's a biggie. We're kind of excited about that one. Something really different for you guys than dry brushing. So
You have plenty of leftovers.
And yep, it'll be a little kit. It's actually a kit, so you'll have extra leftovers of the product, and you'll be able to do more pieces that same way if you like doing it like that. So that should be a lot of fun. We're just trying to do different stuff, use different finishes, different products, just to keep it interesting and fun, and not just dry brushing, dry brushing, dry brushing. So I'm going to switch back to our little girl. You can see she's a lot lighter than him, so now we'll get her like him. So we'll just keep going and get her dolled up here. I think the extras in the box is as much fun as the actual bisque pieces. I don't know if that's what you guys think too, but it's fun coming up with the ideas of the different little pieces to put in there for the finishing pieces, like the buttons and the burlap or the glitter, the dry brushes, all those little different little things that are useful. The gloss sealer, all those good little things that they add up if you're buying them separate too, and paying just shipping on just that item. So it's kind of nice to have them in the box. Well, Brenda was excited to learn color washing. Color washing is really easy. You're just thinning your... There used to be a product and it was called Color Wash, and then they took it off the market, so now the old crafters or old painters actually just take and make their own, and you're basically just thinning out your acrylic stain so it's more like the thinness of ink, and then you're painting it onto your piece, and then you're taking a sponge and water and wiping it off and just leaving it in the creases. And that's a really good technique for snowmen, because that way usually you can still see the white through that color wash, and it doesn't take so much paint to get the white built back up on it, but yet it'll, like I like to use blue, so it'll have a blue hue to it, or if you use purple, it'll have a purple hue to it. And then you dry brush it just like we're doing now. It just doesn't take as much work, I guess, to get your colors built back up. And then the other technique for February, that's going to just be a really simple one. You guys are probably going to really love that. And then the antiquing that we will do on the one snowman with the gold. Like if you've seen Clay Magic, they had the Joy to the World snowman, and then they had the stacker that had the Joy to the World. And it gets painted like a buttery cream or a ivory, and then you let that dry really well, and then you take the gold paint and you paint that over it, and then you again sponge that all off, and you let the gold in the creases. And it's it's more of an antiquing technique. And then you can go back with the gold and highlight areas or paint like bands or rings in, little detail areas more solid with the gold. It's really good for like nativity sets and the snowmen. So Courtney brought me a color wash piece to show you guys. So she's probably going to zoom out, or you're going to just leave it. So this is a snowman. It's not the snowman for the December box, but he was color washed blue first. You can see the blue in the crevices and in his mouth and in here in the words and in the snowflake. So the whole piece was color washed with that inky thinned out blue paint, and then you wipe it off with a sponge, wet sponge, and you let the deep color in the deeper crevices, but it comes off on the higher areas, and then you come back and dry brush just like we are with the Scarecrow. So that's how the color washing works. But you can see this is all the color wash. It's just that it's not so dark like the black, and it doesn't take so much white then to bring it back up to the color. But yet the white kind of has a blue hue under it too, so it has that like nice icy snowman look to it. And like this guy's really, I'm probably turning it upside down on you, sorry. He actually lights up too. You can put a little,
He has a base.
he has a base that lights him up.
It's a Clay Magic.
And he's from Clay Magic. He's one of their older molds, but he's really cute. And then the little Christmas tree lights have the little pin lights in them too. But that's how a color wash works. You kind of just have that hue that you color wash with still coming through your white. So that's color washing. It's easy. It's just another way of doing it.
You have a question.
Courtney says we have a question. Yes, the Gare's color wash was amazing. I wish they would bring it back. But we make do.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Adriana. So hopefully ceramics seems to be picking up a little bit more. Maybe some of our companies will be bringing back more products for us. I noticed even Gare released a Renaissance snowman mold this week, which that's pretty big when you start seeing those big companies bringing molds back and paints back. That's just great for all of us. So if we need to support them by using their products and using their molds and do what we can to help the industry out and keep this craft going, because it's a great pastime. I can't tell you how many people have messaged that it's helped with their mental wellness. It's pretty unbelievable. It's great for kids. I have 4-H kids that do it, and it gets them off the phones and off the computers, and they're proud to have a finished product that they did themselves, and it's just a great craft to do. You can do it at your own time, your own pace, because even our videos are saved. So if you can't paint along on Thursday nights, and maybe you can only paint on Sunday nights, you can go back to the video on the video tab, and you can play it and paint along then without me. Maybe you could even get a group of friends together and you guys can have a paint night. And Courtney also has it on YouTube now, so anyone that doesn't use Facebook, they're on YouTube also.
Yeah,
She's got to finish loading some up on there yet, but she's got it started. She says it takes a long time to get those to upload, so and the computer can't be bothered when she's doing that, so she has to make sure she's got like a free day to do that. And then make sure you like them and share them, and that just helps so more people can see them, and we can keep ceramics alive. So now she's looking pretty good, and I'm going to let her dry and go back to the little boy again. And Marianne says hello, hello. And Stephanie says they only sell Duncan, Mayco, and Doc Holliday. Yep, that's right. We got to support the people that are in this business, keeping it going. I don't know if Donna still sells paints. I think Kimple sells a few stains though. There's also Fashion Hues is another company out there with the translucents. It's just another type of paint. So I'm just going to keep dry brushing away here. Get his face up so it's nice and even. You can see it's kind of splotchy yet, but we don't want that. We want it nice and even. And we want to come around and make sure we get his neck and under his chin. And there's always more than one way to do something. Just because I'm doing it this way, that's not necessarily the only way or the right way. This is just how I do it. So, you can do what works best for you. If you have another teacher that's helping you, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have questions, you can message us or you can post on the video post, and Courtney and I'll get to them. But we do work full-time during the day, so it might be later sometimes. So I'm just grabbing my light brown and I'm slowly building this face color up. I want it a little bit more yet. So Courtney does have the paint and brushes on Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. If there's something on there that's not on there, let us know and we can get it from Glazers. We can put in the order, add it to our order when we order. We hope to have Mayco by the end of the year as far as the acrylics. We don't have the glazes because they're expensive, but the other thing is this is kind of focused at people that don't have access to shops, so you wouldn't have access to a kiln to fire the glazes, so that's why we're sticking more with the acrylic stains and those types of techniques that are for non-fired pieces, because most likely if you don't have access to a shop, you don't have access to a kiln to have glazed items or overglazed items with say mother of pearl or gold and silver on them. So we're trying to do more non-fired techniques than anything, just because of that, because that's what everyone was saying. We don't have a shop anymore. We can't go there, or my mother did it or my grandmother did it and I want to try it, but there's no shops around. So this is our way of helping people out. And I've been doing it since 1981, so I've kind of been around a little while. Taken different classes here and there, different states. I was in the Army, so we've had different teachers too. We're just going to keep building up our light brown. It's pretty darn close. And you can see it's still in his creases. You still have the black in the creases, and that's what you want. That's what gives your piece dimension and depth. We're still working on our kids' kits. We haven't even had time this week to even touch those. We did get a unicorn mold in from Riverview when we got the molds for our February box. If Courtney wants to go get the greenware, it's on the table downstairs for the unicorn. It's really cute. We thought it would make a good kids box, not necessarily a subscription box, but just a box, like a project box that grandmas, aunts, uncles, sisters could buy for the kids, say for Christmas presents, birthday presents. We have unicorns and we have a chameleon, and I think we have a couple frogs. We just have like kid-related things. So he's looking pretty good here on his face. I want to get under his chin here a little more. And then we're going to switch over to the little girl. So now you can see he's more than she is, so we want to bring her up to him. No, it's on the table though. It's on the table out in the area. So we're just going to keep dry brushing our little girl here and get her nice and light brown just like he is. Oh, he is cute, yep. He's just a cute, he's kind of plain, but he's just a cute little unicorn. He's probably 5 inches by, he's like 5 inches this way and about 6.5 inches crossways. So, I have 2 of import so far, but we'll be getting, once he's cleaned and fired, he'll go on our Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. And all our Bisque is fired to 04, so that if you wanted to use, if you do have access to a kiln, you could use the one strokes and the fun strokes, the concentrated under glazes or glazes. So they've all been fired properly to cone 04. So that's our little unicorn. And like, you have the seams on here. All this detail is put back in. I carved that all back in. You'll find that our bisque is superb. We're not sending out crap. I check it twice, and then Courtney checks it again. So, and she's pickier than I am.
Stickler.
She's a stickler, she says. Yep, if there's a little mark in it, it's not going. So you will.
Brenda's paint pile.
It goes in Brenda's paint pile, she says. So you'll find that the bisque that comes in our boxes or that's on our page, it's quality bisque, and if you get a piece we miss something on it, you just let us know and we'll take care of you. That's one thing that the quality of the bisque is very important to me. So you'll find that when you get our pieces, it's not partially cleaned or half cleaned, and it's quality. So I can't wait to get the unicorn painted even, and then Courtney can get the kits going and the pieces on the .com store, because I think the kids they're good little items for the kids to paint, get as Christmas gifts or birthday gifts. You could even do like birthday parties if you ordered more than one. And if you needed something like that, you could just send us a message and we can work that out and combine shipping and take care of you with that way too. Even with the paint and the brushes, we could combine all that and work that out if you're. It's like there's 4-H projects and birthday parties, and so it's good stuff for kids to be doing besides sitting on those darn tablets and those video games. So she's getting there. She's got a little ways to go yet. So the traditional shops are harder and harder to find. I know the closest one to me right now is almost 2 hours away. So the e-commerce is, I guess, the next best option for a lot of us. And if you find someone that's dependable and reliable, the ceramics can still be kept alive, and we hope to be that person for you guys. So I know I have ladies message me with questions about, well, I'm painting this, what can I do? And I'm more than happy to answer you. Sometimes I may ask for a picture. I know one lady took hers to the local shop. She had bought Bisque online, and the lady told her to Google it, how to do it. Well, that's not really a good way to take care of people. So we don't do that. If you need help, we're going to help you. So it's all about helping people. So we're just going to keep going here and get her face just a little bit lighter, and then we are going to be able to switch to, we can either do the yellow or we can do her shirt. I think we'll start with the yellow. And the reason I say I would start with the shirt is because the shirt, like her shirt and his shirt is lower than the jumper, and like his shirt is lower than his little pants. So you would want to do that lower area before you did the pants, because if you do the pants first and do the shirt, your shirt color is going to get on your pants. So that's the reason why you would decide what color to do next. But like this hair and this hat, they're not really going to interfere too much with that shirt. So we may do the hair and all this yellow straw and our yellow sunflower. We may do that next. The straw on here. So I'll think about that while we're finishing up her face, if we're going to do the shirt or the straw next. But that would be why I decide to do the shirt. You want to do the shirt before you do your pants, because your shirt is lower and your shirt color would get on your pants if you did the pants first, and you'd have to redo it. So we're just going to keep getting her just a little bit lighter so she matches him up. And even our boxes, like Bonnie put, their attention to detail. Yes, we do. We try to look at every little detail when we box up those boxes and when we create what's going in those boxes and what the extras are going to be, and just to make it a good experience. I can't tell you how many people say, oh, it's like opening Christmas. And that's perfect. That's what we want it to be, just a good experience. And then we have the painting on the Thursday nights to go along with it. So if you need help, we're here to show you how we do it, and you can ask questions. It's great to see your pictures that you guys share. So it's all good. So it's been a cold and rainy week here. I actually had to break down and get the battery for my thermostat for my furnace so I could kick the furnace on Tuesday, because I had ladies that came and painted for fun. We just paint on Tuesday nights as a little group, and because we lost our local shop, so a few of the ladies come over and paint, and it's like, well, I guess I better turn some heat on for them. So I had to get a battery. Shivering and painting wouldn't have went too well together. We wouldn't have had very straight lines. So we're just going to keep going with that. And in fact, I had two of my 4-H'ers came on Tuesday, and they did the technique on their 2 pieces that we're going to be doing in February. So that was kind of cool. So that tells you how easy it is. 4-H'ers, or my young 4-H'ers did it. I think they're 8 and 10. But they're, Cordy said they're pretty talented. They are pretty handy with crafty stuff, so. So I think she's just about where I want her. So I'm actually going to take her and compare her to him. And she looks pretty good. She's got a little bit of darkness right there, so I think I'm going to brush that. So you do want to look to see if it's kind of even, if you have any black blotches. So that's looking pretty good. Maybe a little more on her face right here, under her lip. Like she's got hair growing there. Got that day-old shadow, so we're going to just get that a little bit lighter. How are we doing on time, Courtney? I guess that'll decide what color we're going to do next. We're at 8 o'clock. I think we will start with the next color with the yellow, because then you guys could actually, if you want to work on it this week, you would be able to work on it. So I think we'll start with our straw and our sunflower. That way you guys can keep going all week if you want something to do. So they're looking pretty good. We got the back of his neck. That looks good. So we'll set him aside. And now I'm just going to blow my dust off. We're going to take our mustard, and we have the Doc Holliday DH10 mustard. Again, that's the Doc Holliday DH10 mustard. I'm just going to shake that up a little bit because there tends to be oil on the top of that one. And we're just going to put a little pile on there. And I'm going to use my same brush, but I'm going to flip my paper towel over. So now we want to do everything that is going to be yellow. So if we have her, we have the top of her straw hat, we have her sunflower, we have her hair, and we have her arms. And on the back we have her hair and her straw, the back. So we're going to do all of that with our mustard. And we're going to go across our texture because we want to leave the black in the creases. And if you get the mustard down on the hat, that's okay. Or if you get it down on the shirt, that's okay. So we're just going to start out with our mustard, and we're going to do the same thing that we just did. Grab a little bit, brush it out on our paper. And again, I'm just going to brush lightly across my texture. And we'll get all of that filled in with yellow, with the mustard. So I have like a nice little layer on there, so I can flip her over. I can do the back. Again, I'm going across all my texture, and I want to get on the edge as well. And we grab a little more and brush it out. You don't want too much at one time. And then you just want to just keep building up those layers like we did with the face. And we'll get on the edge here as well. You want to get on those tips. And now we'll go to the straw hat, the straw on the top of the hat. And I'm brushing out my brush, and I'm just going to go across it. See, I'm going across it, and it's letting the black in those crevices, and that's what we want. So now I can flip to the back and grab a little of the mustard and brush it out. And again, keep brushing. Just brushing back and forth, not hard. Just a little bit of pressure on the brush, but not much. And we'll grab some more yellow. And now we'll come down to her hair. So her hair, the texture is going this way. We want to come this way. We want to go across it. So you always want to look at the direction that your texture is going. And like when we were base coating it, we went with the texture, but now with the dry brushing, we're going across the texture. And sometimes you have to go with it a little bit too if it's not filling in, if the yellow isn't getting in there, then you can go with it. That's okay. It's not absolute that you never go with the texture, but in general you go against the texture. Like here, I'm going to go with it so I can get down closer to her blouse. And I'll probably go with it up here next to the hat too. And we're going to grab some more and brush it out. Now she has a little band on her hair. We're going to just brush up to it, but if you get some on it, that's okay. Brush across the bottom of the straw, and now we're come to the front, and we're just going to brush right up to our face. Try not to get it on it, but if you do, you can touch it back up with your light brown. And we'll try to get up here by her face too. And work it to the back. I'll turn her around. And if you're having trouble with dry brushing and it seems like your paint is smearing, just let your piece just take a break and let your piece sit and let it dry for a while, and then come back to it. So I'm just brushing across my texture again. Working it around the side to the back here. And then we'll come back to the straw that's for the hands. Brush across it. And you gotta do a lot of turning. So we'll come back up here. And now we'll come over to our other hand. So while I'm doing this now, where we started, that's all drying. So when you go back to that, that'll be nice and dry. And it's just easier to dry brush when it can dry like that in between. Instead of doing one area completely and then going to the next area. If you let those areas dry that we've already done, the next coat will go on there a lot nicer, easier. So we got her all with a base, just a little base coat of the dry brushed mustard. And we got to get this other pigtail over here. So let's see what's going to go on for this week. The week coming up. It's not as busy as this week was, but I have jury duty tomorrow. Saturday I have to base coat, well I have to not base coat, I have to paint one of those, that plain truck that's for the November box, and then we're going to do the video for that.
Nobody voted, so you gotta paint it green.
Courtney said nobody voted, so I have to paint it green. Oh, you guys, you should have voted. I don't like green. So, we'll see.
Maybe use a different
What else? Then I need to get the net on my pond because the leaves are falling off the trees, and I've been going to do that for the last 3 weeks and haven't had time, but this weekend it has to get done. And I have to take the pumps out of the filter boxes and the aerator and put it in the pond so it's ready for winter. My pouring table is out in the front of the garage, and we had frost this week, so I have to empty the slip out of there and clean that up. So now I switched to the little boy, and we're going to do the same thing with him. We're going to do his hair. We're going to go across it, just like we did with the girl. It's just that we're going to let her dry good, and then we'll come back to her. I'll be kind of careful when I'm up here by his face. But if you get it on there, you can go back and touch it up with the light brown when we're completely done. Then I think the pouring table is actually going to come into the dining room so I can pour Bisque boxes all winter, because that'll be something new. Because we didn't have those last year, so it'll just make it easier. Plus I can pour bigger molds with that. Let me see, Tuesday night we have class with our friends that used to go to the local shop that we can't go to anymore. So we'll have a little get-together with them. Probably need to go to my parents because I haven't been there in the last 2 weeks. Just been too busy. And I need to get some stuff painted for my craft shows that are coming up. I have 2 the first weekend in November, and then 1 Saturday after Thanksgiving, and then I have another one the first Saturday in December, so I got some serious painting to get done. And what else? There's all kinds of stuff here to do always. There's no shortage. Cleaning Bisque for cleaning greenware for our Bisque boxes for November. And pouring some more trees. I got all the trucks poured, but I need to get more trees poured. So there's always stuff going on here. Always good stuff.
That silver truck?
The silver truck.
Bonnie said red with antiquing.
Red with antiquing. That's what I was thinking. It was doing one just painted out red and then the other one antique so that you could see the difference. Plus it would be a new technique. So I did think about that, or else just another color of red, just because the red is such a popular color. No, we can use the black stain to antique with. You just paint it on and wipe it off. And it goes in the crevices. It's kind of the reverse of this. It's what used to be popular, like in the 70s and 80s.
So you paint it red and then come back with black?
Yep. So Courtney asked if you paint it red and then come back with black. And yes, that's what you do. You paint your whole piece red. Say your little truck, you would paint it red. You would let it dry, and then you would take some thinned black and then paint it on there, and then wipe it off with a sponge, just leaving it in the crevices. Courtney thinks we should do that. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll just do the same red. We'll just do a different technique, and that way you guys can see the difference between dry brushing and antiquing.
Bonnie wins the day.
Courtney said Bonnie wins the day.
She said that's the day.
So...
That sounds like a plan.
That sounds like a plan, she says. Good, I don't have to paint green.
I can't even show them the blue truck because you got it up. Now we have a picture.
So, and maybe we'll have a couple samples of colors for the trucks, and that way when we're actually painting them, you can decide what color you want to paint yours. Because I'll paint some for my craft shows anyway, so maybe that's the other thing we can add as show and tell when we get to that box. I'll just have other colors that you guys can look at, and if you want to paint it, those other colors, you'll know what they look like then. Maybe that's a solution to that. So I'm just dry brushing this mustard on anything that's got straw or yellow. Like the sunflower is going to be a really bright yellow, so we'll dry brush our mustard on there. Let's see what else is going on. Got the dentist in, got the haircut in, got the class in. I still have 4 more times of jury duty. So that's kind of clogging up the month. We're going to order from Glazers. We're going to order from Clay Magic again. We were going to get from, was it Donna's through Starlight? But it was through Evans Ceramics, but the darn shipping is going to kill us. So our distributor in Wisconsin is Marcella's, and they actually do an order in July. So we're going to plan ahead for later in the year to have the Donna and some Starlight molds to just give you guys some other mold company.
Shipping's crazy.
But we got to try to cut down on the shipping because the shipping is just something else.
They don't go to shows.
And as far as I know, they don't go to shows. So if you can get the molds from the show, you can usually get discounted or free shipping. So that helps a lot. So you get a better value for your Bisque price, and we don't have to figure in the shipping as part of the cost of the molds when we can. So I'm going now to his straw on the top of his hat. And I think we talked about last week about doing a monthly list of what the themes will be for next year. I'm not sure anyone left us know that yes, we would like that, or no, we don't like that. If that's, you don't want to be surprised, you want me to be more surprised, or you would just like to know, not necessarily the molds that are going to be in the box, but just a theme. Like November has a Christmas theme, and September had an October theme. So we're thinking about just releasing the year of 2010, the themes for each month. And Cordy says, Dory's got a question. Is it like using fashion hues color when antiquing? It's sort of like using the fashion hues, yes. It is.
That's just a brand.
That's another company that has paints.
It comes in different bottles.
Yep, they come in smaller bottles. Maybe we'll look into doing a project with those paints. I'll have to price them and see if we can pick them up at a show and do a project where we wouldn't need a whole lot of colors. So that's an idea too for another technique, would be to use those on a project. We'll look at that. So we got him all mustard everywheres, and that's pretty much just the first layer of it, and he's got a long ways to go. So you guys could keep doing that all week if you wanted to. As you can see, she's a lot lighter finish than she is at right now, so it's going to take a lot more mustard yet. So if you wanted, and then we'll do the daffodil on top of that as well. So if you want to keep going before next week, I would go as far so that it's covered, as like the face is covered, so there isn't so much black showing. Cordy says maybe I can do a section. Maybe I can do the top up here, because then that would, there's enough that it'll dry, and I can get you so you have a sample of what degree of mustard that we were looking for. And then I'll even catch mine up, and that should save us a little bit of time. So yeah, that's what we'll do. I'll get this to the point of where we want the mustard, and then if you guys want to work on your pieces this week, if you have time, then you'll know how far to go with your mustard on all the yellow area, on all the mustard areas, which is the sunflower and all the straw. And if you have a problem, you can just message me, but you should be okay. because we're just dry brushing it. There's just so much yellow on here that we can just go ahead and do it all. So you can see it's a lot more mustard than the sunflower is right now. And the sunflower has less texture, so it's going to take more dry brushing to get that. The straw has a lot of texture, so that dry brush is really quick. It just grabs the paint. And if an area is staying really dark on you, instead of going across the texture, you can go with it a little bit. So we'll get the top of her mustard the way to the degree that we want it, and then you guys can go ahead and we can even post it as a still picture on the Bisque box group. That way you can have it for reference. So I'm just going to keep going around and around the straw from front to back till we get it in the top. Get it built up to the degree of mustard that we want. And then that's how you can do both him and her if you have time this week. And then I'll squeeze time in to get them to that point too. And from there we'll probably we'll get our daffodil on there to get it a brighter yellow. And then we will probably go to their shirts then after that, because that's that lowest part of that pants area. That'll probably be the harder area to do. That's probably about as far as we'll get next week then. I'm just going to keep brushing back and forth. I want it lighter, or more mustard and less black. And then you want to get this top area too. And I'm just brushing across it. And are you guys liking the size of the pieces that are in the boxes? We can't really get much bigger pieces in that size box as far as shipping is. Cordy says it's going to have to, the pieces have to be under 9 inches, and then we also have a dollar equation that the Bisque has to meet. Sometimes we do exceed it. The November box, we did exceed it, so you guys are getting more. So yes, with the November box is over budget, but it's kind of a thank you for you guys for trusting in us. And I mean, it's Christmas and Thanksgiving, and we appreciate you guys, and things are, you guys seem to be enjoying it, and we didn't know if anyone would like the Bisque boxes, and so we did go over budget, but it's kind of a thank you from us to you, because we do appreciate you guys. Plus the trucks and the trees are so popular this year, how could we not do a truck and a tree? So there's still a lot of black in here. I want that a little bit less yet, so I'm going to just keep brushing it a little more. So everything in the box has an equation of what it has to equal. We don't just like pick this piece and pick that piece. Everything has to meet our standards as far as the equation for the Bisque and the equation for the extras, and so we try to keep the value of the box the same every month. Although, like we said, November we kind of pretty much went over the budget, but that's good.
In December it's going to be fun with a surprise.
What?
December we have a surprise.
Oh, in December there's a surprise in the box too, because it's Christmas, of course. So you guys will get to see that, or you'll actually get to have it too. So I'm just going to make sure I get the top up here. So you can see I'm not letting a whole lot of black compared to like the hat that's all black. but I do want some of it because that's what gives my straw the, you can see that it's different heights and different depths. So we make sure you're always getting the value that is set for the box, that you're not being getting less than what you should be getting. You're getting your $49.99 value, so be assured of that. So, I mean, that's important to us. We want to give you $5 worth of value and be charging you $49.99 every month. We want you to have your $49.99, and we'd rather give you more than less. So, hopefully.
The more people we have, like, we'll get better discounts on stuff. So.
Right. So Courtney says the more things, the more that we can purchase the amount, then the better discount we get too. So that kind of increases your value, that you're getting more for your money too. Because I know it's a lot to have faith in somebody that they're going to send you this box every month that's worth $50, and you're handing over $50 and you don't know what you're getting. We want to make sure that you know that you can trust us and you're getting what the value is every month, and the same amount of detail and time and quality goes into every box. You know, and if there would happen to be an error, maybe we missed putting.
I missed paint this month.
Courtney said she missed someone's paint, but they let us know right away, and Courtney took care of it. You know, we'll take care of it and get it to you. You just have to let us know, because it does get kind of hectic when you have to get these guys all boxed up and out in the same day, and we can't really print the labels before they're ready to ship, because that would mess up the tracking on them. So when we try to. And not every box is the same. Some people have paint in their boxes. Some people might have sealers. Some people might have brushes, extra piece of bisque. So it's not like we're just packing up every box the same. I mean, there can be like 9 or 10 boxes that are the same, but then there might be 15 boxes that are all different. So that takes a little extra time, and I mean, an error can be made. We try not to. If we do, just let us know, though. So I think that mustard is about where we want to get all of our yellow areas. The hair, the hands, our sunflower, the back of the sunflower. So if you want, you could work on it this week and keep going with your mustard and bring all your straw and sunflower areas up to the color on her hat. And when we're done tonight, I will take a picture of that and we'll get that posted on the Bisque box group. So that way you can refer to that as a still picture. That's easier than to come back to the video. And you can do the same with him. So that's about where we're at for tonight. I think that's probably a good stopping point. And if you guys have any questions, just message us or post it on the feed. We do have a couple leftover boxes if anybody wants to get a box yet, and I do have more bisque or more greenware to clean and fire, so we will have more boxes available of these guys if anyone wants to get one yet. So this is what they're going to look like when they're done. You can see that their little button and burlap is on there. We have glitter on the sunflower. So that's what they're going to be looking like when they're all done. She's directing me where to put them, so I hope you guys can see them. So it's our little girl and our boy, and then we'll get our pumpkin and our crow. It'll probably be the last time. The last show of the fourth episode. But we'll work on our scarecrows first, and we'll get them all pretty and cute. And if you don't want to do these colors, you don't have to do these colors. You can switch colors out too. So that's those guys, and then again you can get your mustard up to this color if you want to this week, and you'll be ready for next week. And I think that's about it. So I guess have a great week. If you guys need anything, send us a message.
Your
and
promo code's good.
Have a great week. If you want to go on the Brenda's Brush Strokes and Bisque for the birthday sale for any in-stock Bisque, the promo code is birthday. Just put that in when you're checking out and you'll get a 15% discount. So that's about it. Have a great week, you guys. Thank you for joining us.